of livelihoods, of the economy. These are the three men who have completely destroyed it. They've rebooted the security situation in some ways in J&K. These are the three faces of those men, viewer.
Hello.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav.
This is the news break and I'm Vasudha Venugopal. This is the last word and I'm Maria Shakil.
Left, right and center, and good evening and welcome.
It's a prime time that's unmissable.
The last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Genzol Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have two credible credit rating agencies on March 4th coming and downgrading the stock to D.
Statements are consistently being proven wrong, and transactions are being taken place which are different from what they were originally pictured to be.
The company claimed it would roll out 6,400 electric vehicles. But what it has rolled out is a shocking scam. Funds meant for the project were funneled allegedly back to the promoters, the Jaggi brothers. What did the money buy? Not EVs, of course, but a lavish flat in Gurgaon's luxurious DLF Carmelias.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Behel. It's one of the deadliest attacks in Pahalgam in Jammu Kashmir since the Pulwama attack in 2019. Well, we understand a lot of big developments now coming in. High-level meetings are taking place after 26 people were killed and several others are injured. Big developments coming in. We will get you that in just a bit.
Our coverage continues not just from Pahalgam, but from Srinagar, Delhi and every part of the country where all of those families came from on NDTV. We are reporting every angle with sensitivity. Remember, because this is a story in motion, there are many moving parts, there are decisions being made by the government, and very soon India's response to all of this, the biggest question that Indians are asking, could actually be clear. Let's quickly get you the headlines before that. Home Minister Amit Shah is on the ground. He has paid tribute. He has met with the victims' families, searing images of him with the survivors. And this is him arriving in Pahalgam just a short while ago.
The first pictures of the suspects have been released. Lashkar Front, the resistance force, had claimed responsibility for the attack.
It is, in effect, the worst terror attack on civilians that has ever happened in Jammu and Kashmir. And that's why the Prime Minister will be convening a war cabinet, in effect, at 6 p.m. today. The Cabinet Committee on Security involves the services chiefs, armed forces heads, intelligence chiefs and others.
Victims recount the horror of the Pahalgam attack. The survivors have also met Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Big update now coming in. We are learning in view of the Jammu Kashmir terror attack, the government has now announced immediate aid, and we are learning now stranded tourists are to be rescued from Pahalgam. Also, we are learning from other parts of Jammu Kashmir, the tourists are to be rescued as well. Airlines have also been given directions. They've been asked to act swiftly.
Because the exodus is very big at this point of time. Remember, the immediate challenge facing the agencies, the local administrations in Jammu and Kashmir, and the cities to which many of these vacationers, these holiday makers come from, are going to be completely on code red right now, because the sudden exodus of tourists who are literally fleeing from Jammu and Kashmir at this point of time is going to be huge. And that's the reason why airlines have been ordered to take swift action. They've been asked to remove their cancellation fees and to facilitate the rapid exit of tourists as quickly as possible. Remember, there is no official advisory on leaving J&K at this point of time, but you can understand how tourists feel at this point of time. It is going to be a body blow as far as Jammu and Kashmir's tourism economy is concerned, but thousands of tourists. Remember, as we've been tracking from the ground, 2023 and 24 happened to be record years as far as tourist inflows into J&K was concerned. 2025 was actually going to beat that record, but after what happened in Pahalgam yesterday, all of that has been reduced to dust. It is very unlikely that numbers will stay where they are. People are going to leave, and cancellations will be piling up in a very big way. I want to bring in Vishnu Shom, who's been tracking all dimensions of this unfolding story from the national capital, from the security agencies and beyond. Our full network of reporters with families also in different parts of the country. Vishnu, the focus as we bring in images of Home Minister Amit Shah in Pahalgam, he will be absorbing first-hand information from the ground before he plugs into that all-important Cabinet Committee on Security meeting, which is where decision-making will obviously happen. That's going to be crucial. We're not going to second-guess what happens at that meeting, but what are you picking up in the lead-up to it, Vishnu?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very important, and the government will be looking at all options very clearly now with these sketches which we have up on our screens having been released. The government would be looking at intelligence leads I think there is this knee-jerk reaction which we see being played out in various quarters on accountability. At this juncture, the massacre is over. It is about moving on to the next step. Accountability will always be there, but at this juncture, how does India respond? Do we have credible information on who these attackers were? Were they local? Have they come from outside? And if so, are there military options available for India? Does India want to take military options as well? Remember, the government will do what it feels is imperative at a time and place of our choosing. It's not going to be a knee-jerk reaction in terms of any action that does take place, but it will be a calibrated and significant response, whatever it is. There are various options that would likely start with diplomatic options and a range of military options which are available to the government. I can share with you, Shiv, and Kitty at this stage, that none of these options are easy for any government to take, but I do believe that it is incumbent upon the government to take some very stern measures, also in a time-bound manner. I would like to add that there is an important advisory which I've got from the Director General of Civil Aviation, and in this there are two words which are particularly important. Three words: ensure uninterrupted connectivity. This is a guideline, it is a guidance now issued to all airlines in the country. As you've reported just now, Shiv, it is important to understand that there are any number of people looking to get out of Jammu and Kashmir, and therefore the government has told airlines, kindly step up the number of flights out of Srinagar to ensure that people who want to get out, do get out. Do not be considerate about rescheduling fees, be considerate about cancellation fees as well. But this connectivity is incredibly important at this stage. People need to have the option of going out when they want to, and airlines need to rise up to that challenge. Already Air India Express has moved in saying that these charges will be waived. Other airlines likely to follow suit right after this advisory officially from the government.
All right, thank you so much, Vishnu, for getting us all those details there. We also have my colleagues Anuj, Aishwarya as well as Shreyasi joining us on the broadcast. They are also getting us all the latest there from the ground. Aishwarya, of course, tracking all the latest developments coming in view of the high-level meetings that have been taking place. Well, Prime Minister Modi, of course, had met with senior officials, the External Affairs Minister, the NSA also in the morning as he came back from Saudi. There's an important meeting, we understand, Aishwarya, that has been planned for the evening. The CCS meeting is going to take place in the evening, we understand. And in that meeting, we are also learning that the next response, how the government is really going to respond to what has happened in Pahalgam, that is also expected to be discussed.
Well, certainly, the Prime Minister has already been briefed by the top officials, including the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister, Ajit Doval, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and Foreign Secretary. And Prime Minister is in constant touch with the top agencies who are involved in the entire search operations, and how the relief assistance has been given to the family members and those survivors from the terror attack. But the nature of the CCS that is going to happen today evening would be not a review meeting. It would be a strategic meeting, a look forward to what new strategies would be of the government, and the decisions will be quickly taken. We have been told that the timing had been postponed just because they wanted to get first-hand information from the Home Minister Amit Shah, who had been continuously monitoring the situation on the spot after being given instructions by the Prime Minister yesterday. And after Home Minister Amit Shah will return back to Delhi, he would be attending this CCS, in which all the three service chiefs and CDS, along with the Rai Sena ministers, under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will be taking part. Apart from it, when we talk about the government, we've been also told that the government is in a view that a senior cabinet rank minister will be appointed to brief the opposition parties, and all-party meeting will be called very soon after certain decisions being taken at the CCS, and then there could be, the briefing on what steps the government is taking would be announced to them. So they wanted to take entire opposition together in the nation, interest as well.
All right, okay. Rahul Gandhi is in the United States. He's received a brief, he said yesterday, from Home Minister Amit Shah as well. So that the political layer of India's response is being taken care of. at this point of time. Home Minister Amit Shah is still in Pahalgam. Preparations for that Cabinet Committee on Security meeting that Aishwarya was telling us about are in full swing. And once that meeting takes place at 6 p.m., the wheels of decision-making will need to begin turning, because that lays out the blueprint, the roadmap of how India is going to react. No Indian can be faulted for making that their biggest question right now. What is India going to do next? Remember that as NDTV reports this story, as it evolves, new information is coming out. So if our viewers see information changing, please don't be surprised. That's the nature of a story of this kind. Numbers and certain details will continue to evolve as the investigation gets a little deeper. Now we're going to zoom in. I want to show you that all of our reporters are on standby. Shreyasi, Aishwarya, Anuj and Deepak. An image that has truly sent chills down everyone's spine is the story of Manjunath and his wife. Manjunath and his wife from Karnataka. Just focus on these two images for a moment, viewer. Just absorb these two images for a moment. On the left, Manjunath and his wife in a houseboat in Pahalgam a day before the attack took place. And on the right, there is no Manjunath because he has been butchered right in front of his wife. You can see blood on her face, blood splattered from her husband who was butchered right in front of her. She witnessed it. The trauma writ large, I don't even need to describe it, but two pictures that tell you the story of trauma, the story of unspeakable pain, agony, the nightmare of one woman in these two pictures. Manjunath in one picture, Manjunath not there in the other picture, his blood on his wife's face.
It's very disheartening to see these pictures coming in from the attack site. We understand this was the video on the left of your TV screens that you see, where Manjunath and Pallavi, his wife, they were enjoying the Shikara ride. Little did they know what was coming. They were talking about how they were enjoying this ride and you know, thanking the travel agency also. We've heard that audio clip when they both were thanking the agency who sent them here, Kashmir, and facilitated this trip. But little did they know what was really coming. On the right-hand side of your TV screens, Pallavi, as we understand, Manjunath was killed. He was executed by the terrorists. After, as information has been coming in, they were asked their names, their religion, and were killed later. Well, we understand now information that's coming in. Pallavi also, she spoke to the media after that. She said that she also said that she told the terrorists to take her life away as well, to kill her. But the terrorists said that you go tell your government about this. Go tell your government that we are not afraid, we are not scared of Modi. And then there is Pallavi there, crying, sobbing. There are other people also. That lady in that picture, as you see next to Pallavi, she also lost her husband. She was also crying and sobbing as they were asking for help. We have more pictures now coming in. We have sketches. The agencies that have released of the terrorists, these three pictures that have come out now, the sketches of the terrorists as have been released by the agencies after getting the information from the survivors, from the eyewitnesses on the ground in Pahalgam. These sketches now have been released by the agencies. Well, this is the face of terror. This is the face of that attack in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam that took place yesterday, that dastardly, cowardly attack that took place yesterday, after which we understand now the government's response is something that is being looked at. Well, what is the government's response going to be? Did the terrorists have local help? These are the questions that are being asked at this point in time. And Prime Minister Modi, of course, has had an important meeting in the morning. There is going to be a key meeting in the evening also, after which the government's next plan of action is going to be.
These are the faces of the three terrorists right now. There are unconfirmed images that are doing the rounds right now, but NDTV obviously will be extremely responsible as far as this is concerned. This is not a time to get any information wrong, and therefore we will be doubly careful about putting out pictures no matter who else does that. These are the pictures that have come out from the agencies, and these are the pictures based on which the investigation is moving forward. Remember these three pictures. The information that we have is that there were 4 terrorists. 2 of them were foreign terrorists. 2 of them, were local. Some of them had body cams. It is likely that more footage of the actual attack will be used as propaganda by these terror groups in a short while from now. But the investigation continues. The operations to hunt down these men continues, and they were all 4 from the Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is not something that surprises anyone. Let's go to our reporters now, and let's put that image of Manjunath and his wife back on our screen, because I want to bring in NDTV's Deepak Bopana from Bengaluru. Deepak, multiple victims from Karnataka, from Bengaluru. These 2 images of Manjunath and his wife that we've put on our screen are truly shattering. All smiles, posing, in a selfie video, in a shikara, just a day before the attack, and then literally Manjunath's blood on her face in that other image a day later. What are you hearing from relatives in the family?
Absolutely, and the contrast is very clear for everyone there to see what the terrorists did to her, because there is a smile on her face. She's glowing really in the other image as she's seated there along with her husband on a shikara. On the other, she's completely distraught, doesn't know what's happening, because terrorists walked into a place where the families were having a good time. They were there to celebrate the fact that their son did really well in his PUC examinations. They wanted to celebrate it together. But now she's coming back only with her son and the mortal remains of her husband. I spoke to her a little while ago. We'll of course be putting out that conversation as well for our viewers. She says she's right now in the police headquarters. She even said that Union Home Minister Amit Shah has come there. She's gone on to say that right now what she wants is security. But like you said, for the families who've lost their loved ones, it's distressing times. Right now, they're all hoping that the government does something, and more importantly, ensures security wherever they're traveling in the country, and especially in integral parts of their country, like Kashmir itself. And here, where I'm standing, is outside the residence of Bharat Bhushan. Totally 3 people, who've lost their lives from Karnataka, 2 from Bengaluru, and 1 from Shimoga.
I will just come back to you, Deepak. Well, there's a message from the Union Home Minister, Amit Shah. He's tweeted saying that with a heavy heart, we've paid our last respects to the deceased of the Pahalgam terror attack. Bharat will not bend to terror. This is the tweet that has been put out by the Union Home Minister. The culprits of this dastardly terror attack will not be spared. This along with the images of the coffins where Amit Shah paid his tributes to the victims of the Pahalgam attack. Well, the message is loud and clear that India will not bend to terror and India will not cow down. The culprits of this dastardly terror attack will not be spared. This is the message given by the Union Home Minister and the Prime Minister earlier as well.
The Home Minister, remember, has very likely spent the most difficult day of his ministership today. And I don't say that lightly, because the Home Minister is someone who has been on the front foot on this mission ever since the Prime Minister dispatched him yesterday. He arrived last evening in Srinagar. These images, the most compelling, the most viewed images of the day, are of the Home Minister with the wailing relatives of victims who were religiously profiled, handpicked by Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists sent from Pakistan and butchered in front of their families, all of them men, to send out a message really to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world, which it has. It is Home Minister Amit Shah who was there, and he has just said the culprits of this dastardly terror attack will not be spared. An echo of what Prime Minister Narendra Modi also had said yesterday, that everything will be done to bring the perpetrators of this attack to book. Remember, the faces of those terrorists in those sketches that we showed you a little earlier, those are only the foot soldiers. They were sent by a much larger, much more powerful entity, and you know what that entity is. I don't even need to tell you. It's in Pakistan. It is Pakistan. It is the Pakistani ISI, and it is the Pakistani state. And that's the reason why Home Minister Amit Shah says the culprits of this dastardly terror attack will not be spared. Every word of this is extremely important. Nazir Masoodi is in Pahalgam, ground zero, where the Home Minister has been taking stock firsthand. Nazir, what's the latest from the ground right now? The Home Minister on his rounds in Pahalgam, meeting with the local agencies, the NIA team as well. What are you picking up? What's the latest?
Well, Home Minister have visited the attack site, took stock of the situation, and try to find out what exactly may have happened. Beyond, the briefing, official briefings, what may happen, how many were there. He tried to see himself what is the kind of the topography, count of the situation, how this place is, why there was not any security, all that. He met the victim families. He paid homage to these victims also. So there have been multiple places he has visited since yesterday. So it was, as you were saying, it would have been the toughest day of the Home Minister after he took charge as the Home Minister of India. And all these years he has been talking about how he has changed the situation in Kashmir. And it is the attack is a setback to that sentiment and that perception also, and that reality. And people here appears to be really shocked. And it's for the first time in last 30 years of the strike culture when we see people have observed complete shutdown and protesting against a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. There was spontaneous candlelight vigils, protests yesterday, and today trade organizations, they called for the shutdown, and shutdown call was supported by ruling National Conference, PDP and other groups as well. Mehbooba Mufti also held a protest in Srinagar carrying banners.
Well, yes, Nazir, this definitely comes as a big security challenge for the authorities here on the ground, and also a big blow to the Kashmir tourism industry as well at the same time. But tell us, Nazir, are there more people who were injured in this attack who've been admitted to hospital? Any information about them?
Well, 17 people are injured. They are admitted in different hospitals, mainly Medical College and Anantnag. Condition of some of the injured is stated to be critical. But the authorities are saying, I spoke to Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir yesterday evening. He said he has assigned 2 ministers to oversee the medical care for these injured tourists. Health Minister and another minister, Cabinet Minister, they have been made responsible for the treatment of the patients, and also whatever facilities should be given to the victim families. And Chief Minister Umar Abdullah short while back announced extradition relief of 10 lakh rupees to the victim families or relatives of the deceased, 2 lakhs for those injured, and 1 lakh for those who have received minor injuries. So government is trying to reach out to the victim families, give whatever, nothing can compensate. Nothing, whatever you give them on this planet Earth, nothing can compensate. So government is just, when you see whom is meeting the victim families, is just telling them we share the same pain. And there has to be the same resolve to fight this. Because this is not just the attack on these 26 people, innocent people or others who are injured. This attack on Kashmir, this attack on India's security, this attack on idea that every Indian, every citizen can move freely without the fear of being attacked, killed, or being injured. That idea has been yesterday shattered here in Pahalgam, which was perceived to be a peaceful area because of its nature, because it has to be peaceful, because it is a base step for the Amarnath Yatra, which is just 2 months away. So when we see such an attack taking place and the attackers still at large, that remains a big security challenge. But as I have been saying time and again, that the attackers, terrorists who attacked didn't want to just leave the impact on Pahalgam.
And in fact, Nazir, you're right. The Amarnath Yatra that comes up in a couple of weeks from now would have been at the top of Home Minister Amit Shah's mind, other than the immediate situation that he's taking stock of. But the victims are in different places. You're seeing pictures on your screen also of ambulances carrying the mortal remains, presumably to the Srinagar airport for transportation to different cities where they are being airlifted to. Shreyasi is in Kolkata. Shreyasi, families from literally everywhere in the country The scale of this tragedy is truly national. The logistics of this tragedy have kicked into motion now. The bodies are expected to be airlifted back to different places. You're in Kolkata. You've been speaking to families there too.
Well, here in Kolkata, we are reporting at least 2 killed from Kolkata and 1 from Purulia. Here we are at a 40-year-old IT professional's home who had returned from Florida. You can see there the police sitting on guard, and we of course respect the privacy of the family at this point in time, and we are not intruding and we are allowing them this moment of grief that has befallen. He had returned from Florida. He was working in TCS. Just on the 8th of April, he had come back from the USA and had taken his family for a vacation to Jammu and Kashmir, his wife and 3.5-year-old son. And he was brutally murdered yesterday in cold blood in front of his family. His parents, his aged parents, are here in the home. The Chief Minister of West Bengal has spoken to the family over the telephone and extended all support that is required for the family. Of course, the body is expected later on in the night over here in their home. What we understand is that it was on the 16th that they had left for this family vacation, and they were supposed to return tomorrow, that is 24th of April, but tragedy struck the family yesterday when tourists were targeted by these terrorists in Kashmir. And right now, of course, they are absolutely grief-struck, and the police are here allowing the family to really grieve and not allowing any media to go in at this point in time. But what a tragic day for our country. We have been reporting since morning. Our bureaus have been getting in these stories from across of young lives, of families left broken, and of course all the details of how the center is preparing to respond to this tragic incident that has been reported from Kashmir.
There were other families as well from Kolkata who had gone to Kashmir, to Pahalgam. They were visiting there because of the peak tourist season. We understand a lot of tourists had flocked to Pahalgam. There were other, survivor accounts also that have been coming in. This family group of 36 people, elderly tourists who had gone to Pahalgam. But then, of course, they came a day earlier, and they've been talking about what really happened, the very next day. And they've been thanking their stars, of course. Their lives got saved.
Well, there are 3 such incidents, cases from West Bengal where, tragedy has struck the family, including an young IB officer from Purulia who was posted in Hyderabad and was on a family vacation. He too has been killed in this terror strike. There's another resident of Kolkata who has been killed in Pahalgam, and this is a third, family that has also been on the receiving end. So three such reports from Kolkata where the terror strike has broken these families in West Bengal. Of course, the state administration is extending all the required support to the family. Earlier, the West Bengal Minister Arup Biswas was here speaking to the family. The mayor has been reaching out to the family, and of course, Chief Minister has spoken to these families over the telephone. So 3 such, reports from West Bengal where terror strike has absolutely broken the family and shattered the loved ones. A 3-year-old son survived from this particular, family here in Kolkata's Behala area, where the father had returned from America,
in very great detail. And I wanted to, echo what Shreyasi just said. We're being very sensitive with the families. We're not poking mics into them. J.D. Vance, U.S. Vice President, is speaking. Remember, he's here. He's speaking right now. Let's just listen into him.
They saw in Pope Francis an advocate and I think a true expression of Christian love. So we're very saddened by it. Obviously, our condolences to the Catholics all over the world, but especially back home who loved and honored the Holy Father.
What does it feel like knowing you were maybe one of the last officials to meet with him before he died?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that. I mean, it's pretty crazy, actually. And obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth. I think it was a great blessing. But, I think he saw a lot of people. I think he affected a lot of lives. And I try to just, remember that I was lucky that I...
First image, the opening images of the terror attack yesterday in Pahalgam have also been captured in a truly terrifying video captured by one of the tourists who initially didn't even know what was going on. Just listen to this.
उमर ओ ताजुल दे यार उमरा चलना यार ओ ये था कोई दिसता जहांगीर तो यार बिहारियां पे जुल दे यार तुम मौत ही कसम इधर गेंद है उमर ओ ताजुल दे यार उमरा चलना यार ओ ये था कोई दिसता जहांगीर तो यार बिहारियां पे जुल दे यार तुम मौत ही कसम इधर गेंद है
This is the first video of the attack that was captured by an eyewitness there. We understand tourists were targeted, they were killed mercilessly, gunshots have been heard here as the terrorists opened fire on a number of people, a number of tourists who had gone to Pahalgam to for their vacation, we understand. Well, 26 people have been killed. This is the video. This is the first video that was captured by an eyewitness there. People running here and there, people running around, asking for help, well, pleading for help, but the terrorists went on and continued to fire on them.
And I'm going to play that out for you once again in full, viewer. You know, those of you who may be sensitive about listening to things like this, I advise discretion. But remember, as the country stands galvanized right now, these are the voices and wails of our fellow citizens and their families who were massacred by Pakistan-sponsored terrorists. This is not to whip up emotions. That is not even possible at this point of time, given how we're all feeling. But I want you not to look away from these images. Look at them again.
उमर ओ ताजुल दे यार उमरा चलना यार ओ ये था कोई दिसता जहांगीर तो यार बिहारियां पे जुल दे यार तुम मौत ही कसम इधर गेंद है
So these two visuals on your TV screens. On the left-hand side, this video that was captured by one of the eyewitnesses there, a local Kashmiri, we understand, who was heard speaking in the background also, telling his friend to leave from the place, but they went on to shoot. Well, tourists who were just relaxing at roadside eateries, they were here for their picnic, they were caught completely off guard, as witnesses have reported that they heard these gunshots, these this video that has also now come out clearly shows how gunshots were fired. There was complete chaos around. On the other hand side, on the right side of your TV screens there, those are the faces of terror, the killers, the butchers of Pahalgam. Well, these three photos now that have been released, the sketches that have been released by the agencies there of the terrorists who were involved in this attack. However, there is no confirmation yet, there is no clear picture as to who these terrorists are, but so far we understand the resistance force has taken the responsibility for this attack.
We have a first authenticated photograph of the terrorists that we're going to be putting on our screens in just a moment. We're just verifying that image, taking all due precautions before we put that on air. It'll be on your screen in just a moment. There it is, the first verified image of the terrorists. NDTV's Mukesh Sengar has just obtained this picture, the first image and the first authenticated image, no fakes, no false stuff being picked up from WhatsApp groups and being put on screen. The first authentic image of the terrorists suspected to be involved in the Pahalgam massacre on your screen right here on NDTV. Remember, a live operation is currently on to hunt them down. Information coming in is that they are all Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists, and 2 of them are likely to be foreign terrorists who had come in from the other side, and 2 of them were local. Nazir is with us in Pahalgam, continuing to track this story. Nazir, first sketches, now a photograph has emerged as well of the terrorists themselves. You're in Pahalgam. What's happening there?
Well, I'm seeing it, such a spontaneous protest against terror attack, traders, shopkeepers, hoteliers, poniwalas, shouting slogans of Hindustan Zindabad and we are Indians. And they are also saying they will give free accommodation to tourists for 15 days, whether these are poniwalas, all that, and all these, they have taken this procession in Pahalgam market, which is completely shut as part of Kashmir Band today. This is first time in last 35 years of military when Kashmir is completely closed against a terror attack in which innocent people have been killed. 26 innocent men have been killed. Among them is a local from Pahalgam, Syed Adil Hussain, who resisted those terrorists and to save tourists, but he was killed. Let me talk to Asif Burza. Asif ji, you are running the famous hotel here. Why it is first time I see you, in such a protest?
This is crime against humanity. It is not about tourism, it is not about economy, it is not about number. This is against humanity, and I mean our head hangs in shame. That is all I can.
But this whole place is a victim. It is not a perpetrator.
Yes.
This place has borne the brunt of militancy for 35 years, and it is now the outside from the rest of the country who had come here, who have been killed here. Tell us why this protest is important for you, because what message you want to send.
First of all, I condemn it as Hotel Pahalgam, Hotel Association President. I condemn it very disastrous act has been done by these people, and we don't want this to happen again in Pahalgam. So we are having great sympathies with the families of those who killed, and we want this should never happen again.
This is crime against humanity.
The humanity.
Innocent lives. This is crime
life
against
has been
humanity.
lost.
What was there?
There was no fault of
यहाँ
theirs.
घूमने आए थे हमारे पास.
उनका fault ही कोई नहीं था. Why
This
should
is
they be?
crime against humanity.
तो कई लोगों से मेरी बात जो हुई, they are saying they may be the victims, but the target is Kashmir, it is image, and it is larger outlook.
I mean, it is right now we are only thinking about those families and what they must be going through. Rest, I mean,
we are here to do whatever we can do for them. Anything they want from us, we are ready to serve them, ready to give anything for them.
We are here to make whoever tourists are here. We personally came, we spoke to them just to make them feel secure.
We came from Srinagar today.
We are trying to share their pain, their grief, and we are just trying to make them comfortable and standing with them in solidarity.
So this is more than just a protest. For the first time, I am seeing in the mosques, appeal was made to people to observe a shutdown, not just in the valley, but also in Doda, Kishtwar, where mosques were used, asking people to observe a shutdown, protest against this. There were spontaneous candlelight vigils. There were processions yesterday, and Band call was given by the traders associations, but it was supported by ruling National Conference and the PDP in Srinagar. We just saw Mehbooba Mufti was also protesting there with our colleagues. But here in Pahalgam, all the people and traders coming, hitting the streets, protesting and condemning this terror act, which they see is something which is against humanity, and they say they feel ashamed.
The victims and their families are the ones who have paid the highest price, and the people with Nazir come second. They pay a price that they are still coming to terms with, because the people who were butchered were the guests. They were the guests of the people you see with Nazir right now, who had come to Pahalgam and meant the livelihood of all of those people who were hosting them in Pahalgam and providing tourist services. Nazir, I'm just coming back to you in just a moment. The picture that I want our viewers to look at right now is the big picture on your screen of those 4 terrorists. This picture that's been put out by NDTV's Mukesh Sengar is the first authenticated, verified picture of the 4 people, all 4 of whom are believed to have been involved in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. They're wearing their equipment vests. They are not in combat fatigues, but it is understood that during the attack they may have been in army uniforms in order to access and penetrate the site better. The 2 of them are holding AK-47 rifles, 3 of them actually, all of them are holding AK-47 rifles. I'm sure they have grenades with them as well, because that's a modus operandi of terrorists of this kind, wearing a very special forces look, which is borne out by the fact that most Lashkar terrorists receive almost commando level training across the line of control, and that look is something that this image exudes. All 4 are still at large. 2 of them are said to be foreign terrorists. There are different names doing the rounds, but once again here on NDTV, we will continue to authenticate that information before putting it out. This is Jammu and Kashmir. It is sensitive. Many of those names, belong to many people, and therefore we have to be absolutely sure about the information that we put out.
Well, yes, we are not putting out the names of these terrorists, but yes, this is a confirmation. This is a confirmed picture now that we've accessed. These are the killers of Pahalgam, the terrorists who executed this dastardly attack in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam. A massive manhunt has been launched. The army, the CRPF, Jammu Kashmir police are on the hunt for these terrorists. The area has been cordoned off, of course. There's another operation that was carried out in Baramulla, we understand. There, an infiltration bid was stopped, where 2 terrorists were killed, and this bid was thwarted. We understand now. Meanwhile, the agencies, the police, the army, and other agencies are on the lookout for these terrorists. These are the 4 terrorists who carried out this attack in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam yesterday, and the photograph is out here. Well, a massive manhunt has been launched. What is also being learned is that these terrorists could have also carried out a recce of the place before, because what initial probe is now revealing is that this attack could have been planned in advance, and the terrorists could have come to the place, could have come to Pahalgam before a few days prior to the attack that happened yesterday, and could have carried out a recce of the area.
Nazir continues to be with us. Nazir, horrifying opening images and videos of the attack when it actually started. You can hear a person even commenting, saying this looks like a Hamas-style attack. Pictures of the 4 suspected terrorists who were involved in Pahalgam as well. What are the locals around you saying about the attack? Apart from the protest itself, 1 local was also killed in this very tragically in Pahalgam. What are they saying about who these people might have been?
Well, people are shocked and they are clueless what has happened, because nobody had imagined the attack would happen, and that too the attack of this magnitude, where tourists have always been a red line. What I remember in 1995, there was the first incident when tourists were abducted. They were the foreign tourists. They were abducted by a group called Al-Faran. And still since then, nobody knows what is the fate of those abducted tourists. Then there was in 2005 and 2006, there were a few grenade attacks. And whether they were just random or they... Yes, Yatris were attacked here in Pahalgam in 2000. In 2017 also there was an attack, but it was never that tourists were attacked. Then they were actually, religiously profiled and then killed in this horrific way. And what is the message after this attack? They thought people would be scared. That is not the case. Look at this signboard. He's saying, I am Indian. He says his signboards, Kashmir condemns. this terror attack. He said, I am an Indian. So they cannot scare people. Look at this, stop innocent killings, we condemn. This is where humanity ended, barbaric and coward act. I condemn. This is the message here of the common people in Pahalgam. This message they want to send to those who may have tried to scare them, who may have tried to tell them, look, we can decide your fate. That's not the case. These are the people who have stood, they have actually already done it before. Though their voices may not have been heard the way they should have been. But the fact is today they are coming on the streets, but only thing is that they are saying how it has happened. There's sense of disbelief because the place which is supposed to be the most most peaceful place. Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
So that has come under that.
We'll just come back to you, Nazir. We also have my colleague Mukesh joining us on the broadcast. He's been able to access this picture, the picture that we are showing to you on your TV screens there of these 4 terrorists. Mukesh, what more information is being learned about these 4 terrorists?
देखिए 4 जो टेररिस्ट हैं उनकी तस्वीर सामने आई है और ये चारों टेररिस्ट एक साथ खड़े हुए हैं। इनके पीठ में पिट्ठू बैग हैं, AK-47 इन्होंने ले रखा है, कुछ इन्होंने आगे भी सामान टांगा हुआ है। तो ऐसा लगता है कि पूरी तैयारी के साथ में ये आए थे और ये जो पिक्चर है ये कहा जा रहा है कि यही 4 लड़के इस आतंकवादी हमले में शामिल हैं। इसमें एक का नाम जो है वो कहा जा रहा है कि आसिफ फौजी है। आसिफ फौजी एक काफी डेस्परेट टेररिस्ट है जम्मू कश्मीर का और जो कि रेजिस्टेंस फोर्स से जुड़ा हुआ है, उसके बाद जानकारी मिली है। तो इन 4 जो ये टेररिस्ट हैं की तलाश की जा रही है। जो कुलगाम का इलाका है, पहलगाम का इलाका है, इन तमाम जगहों पर लगातार जो सर्च ऑपरेशन है वो किया जा रहा है। आर्मी के अलावा जो CRPF है और जो JNK पुलिस है वो लगातार इन चारों की तलाश में तमाम जगहों पर सर्च ऑपरेशन कर रही है। हेलीकॉप्टर और ड्रोन के जरिए भी निगरानी की जा रही है। तो अब तक की जानकारी के मुताबिक इस हमले के पीछे लश्कर-ए-तैयबा का हाथ है, ये भी जानकारी मिली है और पाकिस्तान से इस पूरे अटैक को कंट्रोल किया जा रहा था। ये भी जानकारी मिली है कि जो हमलावर हैं उनमें एक लड़का पाकिस्तानी है जो कि लगातार पाकिस्तानी हैंडलर के संपर्क में था। हमला करने के पहले और हमला करने के बाद में, हमले के दौरान भी लगातार वो संपर्क में था। तो ये लगातार जानकारी मिल रही है और सुरक्षा एजेंसियों के सूत्रों के हवाले से हमें एक तस्वीर मिली है जिसमें कहा जा रहा है कि ये वही 4 अटैकर हैं जिन्होंने पहलगाम में एक कायराना जो टेररिस्ट अटैक वो किया है उसमें शामिल है। तो सुरक्षा एजेंसियां और हमारी जो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस हैं वो लगातार इनकी तलाश कर रही हैं। पहलगाम के आसपास एक बड़ा कॉम्बिंग ऑपरेशन चल रहा है जिसमें सेना के अलावा CRPF और JNK पुलिस शामिल है। इसके साथ में ड्रोन और हेलीकॉप्टर से लगातार निगरानी की जा रही है। कुछ देर पहले हमने जो स्केच थे आतंकवादियों के वो भी चलाए थे। उनमें से जो स्केच है वो स्केच इनमें से कुछ आतंकवादियों से मैच करते हैं, उनका चेहरा जो है वो मैच हो रहा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं वो स्केच जो है जो आई विटनेस से पूछकर बनाए गए थे वो स्केच भी इन तस्वीरों से मैच करते हैं। तो ऐसे में अब जो ये 4 लोग हैं इनकी जो है काफी सरगर्मी से तलाश की जा रही है और इनका सफाया करने का आदेश जारी कर दिया गया है।
मुकेश, अभी बहुत सारे नाम टेररिस्ट के नाम चल रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पे। अभी तक कोई ऑफिशियल वर्ड है ये टेररिस्ट के नाम को लेकर?
देखिए अभी तक कोई ऑफिशियल जानकारी या स्टेटमेंट जारी नहीं हुआ है कि इस पूरी घटना में कौन से टेररिस्ट शामिल हैं, लेकिन जो सूत्रों से जानकारी मिल रही है कि आसिफ फौजी जो कि रेजिस्टेंस फोर्स का एक खूंखार टेररिस्ट है वो इस घटना में शामिल है। और जो तस्वीर जारी की गई है इस तस्वीर में भी आसिफ फौजी दिखाई दे रहा है। तो अभी ऑफिशियल कोई नाम नहीं आए हैं और जो सुरक्षा एजेंसियां हैं वो लगातार
मुकेश हम आपके पास वापस आएंगे. We'll come back to you as more details emerge. Meanwhile, we have my colleague Radhika also joining us on the broadcast. She's, we understand, with one of the families of the victims. There 5 tourists were killed from Maharashtra. We understand, Radhika, you have people with you. What are they saying?
That's right. As many as 6 people have died from Maharashtra. In fact, all of them had gone for a holiday to Jammu and Kashmir, to Pahalgam, when this tragic incident struck. In fact, I am with family members of Dilip Disley. He is somebody who died in this tragic incident last evening. He was in Pahalgam. He was with his wife. He was holidaying there. 64-year-old Dilip losing his life. Tell us, when did you hear of his demise? What did you hear? We believe that his mortal remains will come here in just a bit.
We got to know yesterday. Initially, the news came on the TV. We got to know through TV only that there was an attack. But initially, his name was not declared. So we were in a relief that he must be missing or something kind of thing. But in the evening, then we got to know his name flashed. That he's the one who was deceased.
On a news channel, we got this details of the name and
So
everything.
it is through media that you got to know that it was Dilip.
Because we were not able to connect to anyone over there. That was a problem, and the only information that we got that he is missing because his name is not there, his body is not, and later on, once we got on a news, 50% it was confirmed. Then we got connected to the operator over there.
After an hour or something, police came. The local police team came. They informed us, and they were with us from yesterday evening till today morning. They are still there with us. Okay. So they are helping us with each and everything.
Okay. So there are local agencies, local police helping you out, and of course Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister also giving regular updates. But he was there with his wife. What is his wife's condition? And do you know how the attack happened?
We are speechless. We are just getting the information from the media only that this was a pre-planned attack that happened, and one wife was outside because she was not interested to go on inside because of that trekking.
This is what we got to know from media. Unless and until we meet her, we will not be able to give you the right judgment.
Have you been able to speak to the wife?
We've spoken yesterday. She's not in a condition.
Shock. She's in entire shock.
Because she has to confirm the body.
And she's not kind of lady. She has never been out all alone. From past 12 hours, she's all alone. I don't know how she's handling. It's been very bad case for her.
It's just the husband and wife who were there. 60-year-old.
60-year-old.
Okay. And their kids were not there.
Yes.
And it was all planned through media that everything is okay, all is good over there, there is no attacks happening, and we just thought that let's plan there only.
Very, very shocking indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, our condolences with you. So you just heard from the relatives of one of the deceased, the 64-year-old Dilip Disley, who had gone there with his wife to enjoy Pahalgam. Of course, wife is fine now. Wife is with the deceased, and of course they will be arriving in Mumbai in a couple of hours. Certainly tragedy striking innocent people. These are civilians, retired people, retired government officials who were also targeted in these ghastly attacks.
Truly horrifying to see those emotions play out live, the uncertainty of relatives and families whose lives have turned upside down in a matter of just 24 hours. It's not even been 24 hours since the attack, and you can only imagine all the questions they have about what happened and how things have changed so drastically in such a short time. Radhika, thanks very much for that. Radhika and her team in Maharashtra, all of our reporters in different parts of the country. The focus now is on the terrorists themselves, the operation to hunt them down, and what India's response is going to be next. We're taking a very quick break. We're unwavering on this story. Come right back.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is
been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters.
Welcome back after the break. US Vice President J.D. Vance is also in India. He's in Agra at the moment. We understand, however, in view of the attack, he's also said that the US stands with India. Listen in to what he said.
I want to just, of course, issue our condolences to the people of Kashmir who were affected by this terrible terrorist attack. The president's already spoken with Prime Minister Modi. I believe I'll be speaking with him later this afternoon. And obviously, we're providing whatever assistance and help we can provide to the government, to the people of India.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims. Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time.
Hello and welcome to The Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav.
This is the news break and I'm Vasudha Venugopal. This is the last one.
चलना यार ओए था कोई दिसता जहांगीर तो यार बेड़ियां पीछे जुलदे यार तू मौत दी कसम दी है
Good afternoon. It is another day when India is dealing with the outcome, the aftermath of the most horrific attack on civilians in Jammu and Kashmir. The Home Minister Amit Shah is in Kashmir. There'll be a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security later on. The first images of the terrorists have now been revealed, and we'll be bringing you shocking details of what the pictures indicate. A quick look at the headlines. Kitty?
The first pictures of the terrorists is out. Lashkar Front TRF has claimed responsibility for the attack. The picture of the terrorist shows the terrorists holding AK-47 rifles in their hands.
The Home Minister sends out a strong message. Bharat will not bend to terror. The culprits will not be spared. He visits the terror spot in Pahalgam.
It's one of the deadliest terror attacks on civilians in Jammu Kashmir. Prime Minister Modi is taking stock of the situation. He will chair the cabinet meeting on security at 6 p.m.
J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President, offers his condolences to the people of Kashmir, says America will provide all assistance to India. He is in our country, in Agra today.
Condolences to the people of Kashmir who were affected by this terrible terrorist attack.
Starting with?
And obviously we're providing whatever assistance and help we can provide to the government, to the people of India.
All right, good afternoon. We continue to track all of the developments. But first, I'd like to share a couple of important details. Let's bring out the images of the terrorists. These are the first images that we have of the terrorists. The police have also released sketches in a little while. Now, I'd like to share a couple of details about what we see over here. There are 4 terrorists. My sources indicating to me that at least 2 of them were equipped with body cameras to record the movement or whatever the terror attack, as it were. Of the rifles that they're carrying, 3 of them are AK-47 series rifles. One is an American-made M4 rifle. That is a weapon used widely by US and allied forces in Afghanistan. When America left, they left behind large caches of weaponry. Some of that has found its way to Jammu and Kashmir in the past as well, and that appears to be the case right now. The death toll remains at 26. The number of injured is between 14 and 17 right now. But the key point over here, and our sources are trying to give us more details about the origin or the names of these terrorists. But the key point that they mention is that of the 120 plus terrorists in the Kashmir hinterland, the large number, approximately 110, are thought to be Pakistani terrorists. Therefore, there is a chance that most of these, if not all, are Pakistani terrorists. This information is important because it clearly indicates that the origin of this terror comes from Pakistan itself. It's widely known, but we will get more details on the identity of these men in a little while from now.
We are given to understand that a massive manhunt has been launched. The agencies, the forces, Army, CRPF, Jammu Kashmir Police are on the lookout for these terrorists. They have cordoned off the area as well where the attack had taken place. We understand the Home Minister had gone to Pahalgam just a while back. He is also taking stock of the situation on the ground. He has also met the victims and their families as well. But these pictures, the faces of terror on your TV screens there, the 4 terrorists who carried out this attack yesterday in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam, this picture is out. This has been released by the agencies, by the Jammu Kashmir police, who've been now carrying out this operation to nab these terrorists. But yes, not much is known about these terrorists so far. What we are given to understand is that these terrorists who are seen carrying AK-47 rifles as well as an M4 rifle in their hands, these belong to the TRF. The TRF, which is an offshoot of the Lashkar-e-Toiba, has taken responsibility of the attack. Well, on the right hand side of your TV screens also, this video of the first video that came out of the terror attack that took place yesterday in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam, when an eyewitness there on the ground had captured this video, and one of the locals from Kashmir, we understand, who was speaking to another friend of his and saying that we need to leave from this place. Gunshots were heard in this video. We've played out the audio as well for you.
All right, let's go quickly across to NDTV's Nazir Masoodi, who's been tracking all the developments since yesterday. Nazir, I'm told that there are between 15 and 17 people who continue to be injured. Do you have any idea of the number of those who are critically injured or remain critically injured at this stage? Nazir, go ahead. You're on air. All right, we've lost that line with Nazir Masoodi, but what I'd like to do at this stage is actually share a few more details as we bring you this image, or these images of Amit Shah, the Home Minister, in Pahalgam a little while back. Now, I had mentioned that the assessment of there being 120 terrorists in the Kashmir area, 110 of whom are believed to be of Pakistani origin. Let me just go back, or are Pakistani. Let me go back to Nazir Masoodi. Nazir, we've got the line back with you. Do we know the extent of the injuries, or how many critical survivors remain?
Well, if you're asking me because of the noise of the slogans behind me, I was not able to hear the question. So there are 17 people who are injured. If you are talking about injured, condition of 2 to 3 is stated to be critical. 26 people have been killed. Bodies of those who have died are being dispatched to their respective places. Home Minister Amit Shah reviewed the situation here. He also visited the attack site here at Baisar here in Pahalgam. But the Pahal news is they won all the shops and business establishments here in Pahalgam, like in other places of the valley and Jammu, are closed today in protest against this terror attack. And here people are shouting slogans against this attack, demanding justice, and those who are behind these killings should be brought to justice. And even people are telling me they are willing to help army to track down the attackers because they know these forests, they know the mountains, they know the passes. So this is what, when I spoke to them, and they are saying, शबीर जी आप अभी मुझसे बात कर रहे थे जी बिल्कुल सर तो आप कह रहे थे कि आप आर्मी के साथ
बिल्कुल शाना बशाना मैं खड़ा रहना था जस्ट मुझे इसके जो पासेस है एक है टुलियन लेक से इधर जाता है कुसल नाई उसको बोलते हैं दूसरा उधर से क्रॉस करेंगे मणिपल से वरवन वैली जाएंगे लेकिन वहाँ पे बर्फ है इम्पॉसिबल है वो क्रॉस करना इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ कि अगर हमारी जरूरत लगेगी हमारा पूरा टीम अपनी आर्मी के साथ है हम उनके शाना बशाना हम आगे चलने के लिए तैयार हैं लेकिन ये हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे वी आर कोर विद आवर कोर ऑफ हार्ट वी आर कंडेम this innocent killings faces index of mind you can understand sir what happened with us we are human beings we are heartbreakers here it is not matter of only money we have but all of us we have thinking about humanity
this is totally brutal attack
this is brutal attack. Yes, it is strongly condemned this I am Indian They all are shouting slogan, we are Indians. Remember, there used to be slogans that Hum Pakistani hai yahan by the separatists. By today, there are protests. And if attackers had thought it is going to scare people, they can create fear and terror. They have failed in this. And here all these people are protesting against this terror attack here in Pahalgam, showing their solidarity with the victims and showing their resolve to fight terror and militancy in Jammu and Kashmir. It is unheard of. I have never seen, at least while covering Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades, such a protest, such an anger against a terror attack here. But it has happened today, and all the people appear to be very angry. In fact, mosques are being used by people. They are appealing people to.
For long, since the abrogation of Article 370, that definitely has suffered a setback. And the efforts that went in to ensure that normalcy continues to remain on the ground, that has been, of course, interrupted. It's definitely going to take some time for the authorities to restore the confidence in the people on the ground. And we understand.
Come in quickly with a couple of important points, which we have been accessing information from my sources. And the key point that they're mentioning is that the large number of terrorists in Kashmir are Pakistani. That being said, in the last 6 to 8 months, there have been between 40 and 50 infiltration attempts which have been made. Many of these through the international boundary that lies further south, south of the Pir Panjal range. In 2024, there were 10 infiltration bids which were foiled on the line of control, that is in this particular area, in the Kashmir Valley area. 25 terrorists were killed. But in terms of this entire question mark on who these terrorists are they Indian or are they Pakistani? In terms of the recruitment to terror outfits, in the last couple of years, this is what we do know. In 2021, our sources, in 2023, in 2021, the numbers were significant. In 2023, that number went down to 21. In 2024, it was down to just 6. So therefore, there has been this overall downward trajectory of the number of locals who join the terrorist cause. Therefore, there is this widespread belief that this is all entirely being orchestrated by Pakistan.
Well, Vishnu, of course, this is important in view of the fact that there have been a lot of efforts that have been made by the center, by the government, in order to ensure there is peace and normalcy on the ground. And since the abrogation of Article 370, there has been much calm and peace on the ground. But yes, as we've been saying, that those efforts have taken a hit. And also, it definitely now this attack in Pahalgam yesterday, this comes as a blow to the Kashmir tourism industry also. We've seen people there on the ground.
In fact, we've got some numbers, Kitty, of just that point that you're mentioning. In the number of tourists last year, in 2024, there were 2.35 crore tourists last year who visited. There were 5 lakh plus who went on the Amarnath Yatra. In fact, there were 2 movie halls in Srinagar and 1 in Baramulla which were reopened. And I only mentioned this point, Kitty, because it is an indicator of how things had relatively normalized. The numbers this year in terms of tourism were expected to be even more positive. But after this, there has been a large number of tourists who are leaving. In fact, airlines have been told to help those who want to get out. There's been a statement from the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, the aviation regulator in the country, telling airlines to ensure that there is uninterrupted flight coverage from Srinagar to enable people to get out, that there shouldn't be any charges for rescheduling or for cancellations. Various airlines have already come on board, but the effort, and this is important, is to ensure that those who want to leave are given that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, efforts, of course, are being made here. Assistance is being provided to the people on the ground there, and people who want to go out of Kashmir. All sort of help and support is being provided to them at this point in time. We have my colleague Aishwarya as well as Radhika also now joining us on the broadcast. Radhika is with the family members there of one of the victims of this attack. And Aishwarya, let me go across to Aishwarya first. Aishwarya, high-level meetings have been taking place today. Prime Minister Modi also has taken stock of the situation. There's an important meeting, the CCS meeting, that's going to take place in the evening. And what all is expected to be discussed? All eyes, of course, are going to be the next course of action and how the government is really going to respond to this dastardly attack. by Pakistan terrorists in Pahalgam yesterday.
Well, certainly, and upon arrival to the Palam Technical Air Base, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was first briefed by the National Security Advisor, the External Affairs Minister and the Foreign Secretary. And it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who is in constant touch with the authorities over there in Jammu and Kashmir, and also monitoring very closely about the entire search operation which is underway. Home Minister Amit Shah had been given responsibility to take the situation under control, and the reason why the CCS has got delayed is, of course, the Home Minister's arrival back to Delhi, and the first-hand information that the entire committee, which will be chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, would get. Certainly, there are other agencies also who had been told to give their final report of submission, but the nature of the CCS today would not be a review meeting. It would be the way forward. It would be a strategic meeting, and quick decisions will be taken in this particular meeting as to how the Government of India, who has the policy of zero tolerance against terrorism, will approach towards it, how Indian government will take the revenge from these terrorists who are in the valley. While I remember Home Minister Amit Shah, during his visit, a 3-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir, there was a straight message from him while he chaired a high-level meeting at that point of time as well, that there should be complete eradication of terrorism, and special focus should be on the Jammu region. And soon after that, now it has certainly get a hit the Prime Minister's vision of Naya Kashmir after yesterday's terror attack, and this will definitely, those data that was released, I remember Amit Shah released data of entire, infrastructural development, the employment that has been generated for the youth of Jammu and Kashmir, the multiplexes that have been opened, how there has been transportation facilities, tourism had increased, and all of that got a hit. And therefore the reason perhaps to streamline that back, to get peace, normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir, this meeting will be very important today. That will start at around 6 p.m. is what we have been told.
Got a little bit more information at this stage, Kitty, and that is that I've been able to compile the number of heads of state from different countries who've been offering support to India. There are 15 at this stage. There have been 15 heads of state from various countries across the world, from Australia to the United States, who've reached out to India. There are several nations who've had foreign ministers react, several from the ministries of foreign affairs. So there is international support for India, and utter condemnation of this terrorist attack, including particularly strong words from the Saudi Arabian government. Remember, the Prime Minister was there as well. The word of the Saudis is very, very important in this particular context, and the strong condemnation that they have is something that India would be looking at closely.
Well, absolutely. Let's also go across to my colleague Radhika also. She's been waiting patiently. She's been with one of the families there of the victims who was killed in this barbaric attack in Pahalgam yesterday. Well, Radhika, we understand this is a very difficult period for the families out there. What are they really saying?
Absolutely.
What are they demanding
This
now?
is a very difficult period as far as families are concerned. As many as 6 people have died from the state of Maharashtra, 1 from Panvel, 2 from Pune and 3 from Dombivli as well. I am in Panvel outside Dilip Dislay's residence. In fact, several family members, friends of Dilip's have gathered here. In fact, he survived by his wife who was with him when the ghastly attack happened, and his 3 children are at the moment inside the residence. Of course, this is a deeply distressing time for the family members. We did speak to close relatives just in the last bulletin. Now I have with me Dilip's a close friend. Sir, आप बताइए आपने कब सुना ये अटैक के बारे में, और कब सुना कि दिलीप गुजर गए?
हाँ, मुझे अभी सुबह पेपर आने के बाद महाराष्ट्र टाइम्स मैंने पढ़ा, बाद में न्यूज़ चैनल भी लगाया, जब भी मुझे मालूम पड़ा सुबह लगभग 8 बजे, जब भी मुझे बहुत शॉक हुआ। अभी हमने पिछले 8-10 दिन पहले ही हम मिले थे, वहाँ पे घूमने आते थे शाम को, जब भी बातचीत होती रहती थी हमारी। और ये दिलीप देसले अपने नासिक जिले में मालेगांव तालुका में झोड़गे करके गांव है, वहाँ के रहने वाले थे।
आप लोग साथ में काम करते थे?
नहीं, साथ में नहीं काम करता था, लेकिन मैं इधर रहता था।
अच्छा, आप नेबर्स हैं?
हाँ, मैं भी पहले इधर रहता था, जब से हमारा पहचान था, लगभग 25 साल पहले से।
अच्छा, 25 साल से आप जानते हो। सर, अभी मतलब क्या हालत है फैमिली मेम्बर्स की? कुछ रिलेटिव से हमारी बात हुई, लेकिन 3 बच्चे हैं और वाइफ उनके साथ थी। क्या सुना आपने और क्या हालात है?
हाँ, मुझे पता चला कि वो दोनों घूमने गए थे शायद पहलगाम कश्मीर में, वहाँ पे अमरनाथ दर्शन वगैरह करने 5-6 दिन पहले गए थे, और अभी कल ही उन पे अटैक हुआ और उसमें उसका डेथ हो गया। ये सुन के बहुत गहरा दुख हुआ मुझे। मैं तुरंत यहाँ पे मिलने को आया। वहाँ पे उनके बड़े भाई घर में बैठे हैं, उनके 2 लड़कियाँ हैं, 1 लड़का है यहाँ पे, वो भी बहुत सदमे में है।
आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे? बिकॉज अभी शायद कुछ टेररिस्ट के पिक्चर्स अभी बाहर आ रहे हैं, तो ये पाकिस्तान का इन्वॉल्वमेंट बता रहे, तो आप अभी क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्योंकि एज रिलेटिव्स जो बोल रहे थे कि सबने सोचा कि कश्मीर सेफ है, टूरिस्टी है, सिक्योर है, तो अभी आप सेंटर से आपकी क्या गुजारिश है?
नहीं, सेंटर से तो अभी गुजारिश यही रहेगी कि कश्मीर बीच में शांत रहता है, बीच में वो थोड़ा सा बीच में और गड़बड़ करता है, ये उनका पाकिस्तान का उसमें हाथ रहता है हमेशा। वो कभी स्वस्थ बैठने वाला नहीं, अपने पाकिस्तान के लेकर भारत पे वो हमेशा अटैक करते रहेगा। इसलिए सेंटर को मेरी गुजारिश है कि उसने तुरंत या इस पे कड़ी एक्शन लेके उसको सबक सिखाना चाहिए।
All right, but we're going to quickly go right across, Radhika. Just to interrupt you for a moment, we've got an important news coming in of Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, holding a crucial meeting. There will, of course, be a meeting with the chief of defense staff, the service chiefs, with the prime minister and others, in a cabinet committee on security meeting later on. But the defense minister, prior to that, is holding a key meeting as well. Several issues linked to this attack are being discussed. What India will not openly talk about are the options which are available at this juncture to the country, where the military options are being looked at very, very closely or not at this stage. We'll come back to this important point in just a few moments, but the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holding a key meeting. I'm now joined by General Yash Moore. General Moore, thanks very much for being with us. The information that we do have is that of the 4 attackers, 2 had body cams, and they systemically went about targeting these people, and that given the data we have, more than 98 to 99% of those involved in terror attacks in Kashmir over the last 1 year are believed to be Pakistani. So it appears that the link to Pakistan is absolutely direct. That's the assessment of several people I've been speaking to. What is your assessment?
Yeah, Vishnu, everything in this entire Pahalgam attacks points towards the role of Lashkar-e-Toiba. This is exactly the way they do the entire modus operandi, choosing the place, the time, the people, and the way they went about doing it. Entirely, it shows it is Lashkar-e-Toiba is involved, and LET is one organization which is still under the control of Pak ISI, totally under the control. Their weapons, their equipment, their radio sets, everything is funded, trained by Pak ISI. No other organization can have the kind of sophisticated weapons and the wherewithal. So there's just absolutely no doubt. Only thing is we should be able to pin it. We should be able to investigate it and go back and check exactly which group and when these people have actually infiltrated and done this. So there's no doubt on Pakistan Army involvement and ISI involvement.
Right.
General Moore, just be with us for a moment. We've got our colleague Akhilesh with us as well. Akhilesh, an important meeting being held by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. What details on this can you share?
Well, it's a very important meeting which was called by Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh. And we've been told by the sources that this meeting lasted around 2.5 hours. And apart from CDS, all the 3 army chiefs were present in the meeting. And we have been told by the sources that a detailed action plan was discussed, because in the evening, the Cabinet Committee on Security is going to meet under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And we have been told by the sources that an action plan which is supposed to be presented before the CCS was discussed in this meeting. Though there is no official word about the meeting, but of course the sources are indicating that yesterday's Pahalgam attack was discussed in detail, and also what should be the response of the security forces. This was also discussed in the meeting.
All right. Thanks so much, Akhilesh, for getting us all those details there. Let me go back to Major General Yash Moore here on the broadcast. Sir, has there also been a change in strategy of how this terror attack was also carried out. We've seen the terror attacks in Jammu recently that have taken place, but yes, now this attack taking place in the Baisaran Valley in Kashmir, we understand in Pahalgam. What really explains the strategy of Pakistan or the terrorists who've carried out this attack?
See, when you do a cold analysis of this entire thing, when for about 10-15 years we had total peace in Jammu, Rajouri, Doda sector, absolutely peace. And then suddenly we saw a lot of incidents in last year and a half taking place close to Jammu in Katwa, Doda, Udhampur, close to Vaishno Devi and, Surankot and those places. Now, everybody in this entire thing, we were focusing this side. And Valley was all, you were talking of multiplexes opening and tourism, everything as normal as possible, tulip gardens and, everybody wanting to go there. And suddenly the center of gravity has been shifted from this region to Valley to draw attention there. So there must have been a lot of planning to do. So somewhere, I think this is what the terrorists try to do, to remain ahead of the security agencies, the int agencies in the UDA cycle, which call observe, orientate, decide and act cycle. So probably that is why we were surprised and we had no inclination that this is going to take place. So there has been a major shift in their strategy to bring back Valley into the focus again.
Little more, I'm just trying to understand, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there is obviously an escalation matrix. There is a big red line which Pakistan has crossed now. Therefore, the government is holding a cabinet committee on security meeting to discuss options. Let's face it, many of these would likely be military options as well. In terms of the escalation matrix, what are the options available for India, in your opinion, at this stage, given how serious this attack was?
See, attack is very serious, and the whole nation, across political parties, across people, everybody in India is in deep anguish, sadness, and anger. It's visible. It's absolutely visible. So now the political leadership, the military leadership has to deliver, and people will ask for it. But my take is that revenge is best served cold. We have all the options, and I'm sure these options are debated. Even recently, the Home Minister was there, and we keep having these discussions at the level of the governor or lieutenant governor in J&K. Otherwise, also we keep wargaming. So there must be a lot of options available to us. But the issue is that the option must result into hurting Pakistan army, Pakistan military. Actually, if we don't do that, then there is one glue that sticks the entire Pakistan polity is anti-India tirade, anti-India hatred. But how do we isolate the Pakistan army and ISI out of this? So that is where the challenge is. So whatever we do, whether we go for another round of surgical strikes, whether we hit Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist camps, or we go for an airstrike, or we launch para-SF operations or covert operations, there are n number of options available, or we heard them on near the Durand line in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area, where already Pakistan army is bleeding very badly. Balochistan, where they are bleeding very badly. So I think we must weigh all options, and I trust the military hierarchy and the political hierarchy. They will come out, and we must surprise them.
What many say that a befitting response is the need of the hour, is what something that everybody is looking at, and what is expected from India at this point in time. But what that response is going to be, that of course is to be seen. Meanwhile, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to NDTV and sharing all those inputs there. We've also spoken to Manjunath's wife, one of the survivors of this attack. Listen in to what Pallavi has to say. She was the one who was present in that Shikara riot. She was there along with her husband Manjunath. Manjunath was killed by terrorists. Few moments later, we understand, or a few hours later after this video was recorded. That's the other video on the right-hand side of your TV screens, where Pallavi was seen crying, asking for help. Her husband was already killed, and she's just looking into the camera, wailing there. Well, listen in to what she has to say, and what is she really now looking at as demanding from the government in terms of justice for her husband.
Good afternoon. This is Deepak Bopana from NDTV. Firstly, my condolences to you, ma'am. Really unfortunate what has happened in Kashmir. Madam, I just wanted to have a word with you. I think representatives from Karnataka से सारे representatives आए हुए हैं वहाँ पर आपसे मिले हैं. अभी हमें पता लगा है कि आपकी बैंगलोर आने की भी सारी अरेंजमेंट्स की गई हैं. वहाँ पर क्या सिचुएशन है अभी बता सकते हैं मैम?
हम यहाँ पुलिस हेडक्वार्टर्स में हैं अब.
ओके.
और सबका बॉडी यहीं पर है.
ओके.
जिन का फ्लाइट है वो भेज रहे हैं. मेरा फ्लाइट 6 बजे को बोले हैं शाम.
ओके ओके. आप अभी सब कंफर्टेबल है? आपको कुछ इंजरी हुआ था? आप कैसे हैं अभी?
मेरे और मेरे बच्चे को कुछ भी नहीं हुआ.
ओके ओके. अमित शाह जी बहुत सारे लीडर्स कश्मीर में आ चुके हैं. उन्होंने आपसे कुछ बात किया, कुछ अश्योरेंस दिया मैडम आपको?
मैं पीछे बैठी थी. उन्होंने अश्योरेंस बहुत सारे लोग थे.
ओके.
मुझसे भी बात की.
ओके.
बात तो हुआ.
ओके मैडम, आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं देश को अभी फिलहाल, और क्या डिमांड करते हैं हमारे गवर्नमेंट से मैडम अभी फिलहाल?
सिक्योरिटी.
Pallavi, speaking to my colleague Deepak Bopanna there, saying that security, that's the word that she's used, that this is what she is asking for, is something that needs to be provided to the people. Deepak, well, it's a very difficult time for Pallavi, for people who've lost their loved ones in this dastardly attack in Pahalgam yesterday. What assistance is being provided to these families now by the state and the center as well?
Well, absolutely distressing times, isn't it? And as I stand here in Bengaluru's Mattikere, this is right outside Bharat Bhushan's house, another person who's lost his life, shot dead brutally there in Pahalgam. And he too is survived by his wife and a child, just like Manjunath was shot dead. Their Pallavi, of course, was very emotional when she was speaking to me. She has earlier spoken about, what happened during the firing as well, how people were targeted. I didn't want to delve too much into that. She didn't want to comment at that on that either, because it has been quite a distressing time for her, because you can see those images contrasting in nature. While she was on that Shikara port, all smiles on her face. On the other, when you see that person who's of course shooting that visuals after the shooting that happened, there you can see her face completely distraught, in disbelief really, where she found her husband being shot dead. Right now, the representatives from the Karnataka government, Minister Santosh Lad is there. He's overseeing all the arrangements that are being made. We've been told that 3 p.m. is when the flight to Bengaluru is going to depart. That will have the mortal remains of Bharat Bhushan, where this is the residence where I'm of course standing outside, and along with the mortal remains, also the wife and the child of Bharat Bhushan will be brought to Bengaluru. Then at 6 p.m. is the flight to Shimoga. That's where Pallavi along with her son are going to make their way. Manjunath's mortal remains as well will be brought there. Another individual from Karnataka lost his life, Madhusudan Rao. His body, upon the request of the family, is being flown to Chennai. From there, it will be taken to his native village in Andhra Pradesh, is what I've been informed. As of now, the Karnataka government has also opened up helplines. I spoke to the minister earlier in the day, where he says that at least about 60 tourists are right now in Kashmir. A special flight is being arranged by the Karnataka government to bring them back to safety. But what this incident has done is sent shockwaves across the country. It has left people in grief. A pall of gloom has descended upon the country right now. They're hoping that the government acts, puts an end to terror, and like Pallavi there, Manjunath's wife, speaking to NDTV, said, what people want right now is security. When they go out with their families, just to have a good time, spend some quality time, the least that they expect is security, and the government is really working towards that right now, and a cabinet meet is going to get underway to plan ahead as to what needs to be done from this point on, to reassure the people that they can go to tourist spots, they can roam around there freely without having fear of their lives.
Deepak, thank you very much for sharing those details with us. Our colleague Deepak Bopanna speaking to the wife of somebody who very tragically lost their lives over there. But we will try and bring you more such stories and accounts of those who have survived. There are more reactions coming in. Let's listen in.
देखिए ये तो हम सब पे हमला हो गया, ये कोई खाली 20, 25 से 28 लोगों पे हमला टूरिस्ट पे, ये पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों पे हमला हुआ है। और इसमें मैं कोई इस वक्त सियासी बयानबाजी नहीं करना चाहती, क्योंकि हमारे मुल्क में इस वक्त लोग जो हैं वो बहुत तकलीफ में हैं, उनके दिल रो रहे हैं और हमारे दिल भी उनके साथ रो रहे हैं। मैं इतना ही कह सकती हूँ कि होम मिनिस्टर साहब को चाहिए जल्द से जल्द पता लगाएं, जो भी इसके पीछे दहशतगर्द होंगे उनको पकड़ के कड़ी सी कड़ी सजा दी जाए।
All right, the US Vice President J.D. Vance has been in India. The US has already condemned the attack. J.D. Vance himself, the US President Donald Trump also. In fact, President Trump has spoken to Prime Minister Modi earlier on. There's been another reaction from the US Vice President who's been in Agra. Let's listen in.
I want to just, of course, issue our condolences to the people of Kashmir who were affected by this terrible terrorist attack. The President's already spoken with Prime Minister Modi. I believe I'll be speaking with him later this afternoon. And obviously we're providing whatever assistance and help we can provide to the government, to the people of India.
All right, we have more reactions now coming in. Let's listen in to what the Israel's ambassador to India has to say.
Other countries what to do on a particular case. I'm sure that the Indian government and the authorities here have much better intelligence about the situation in the trans-border area and how to deal with this issue. As I said, we are going to concentrate in cooperation when it comes to, in general terms, when it comes to methodology, when it comes to technology, when it comes to intelligence, and this is a very important work that we will continue doing.
Thank you so much for sparing time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so the Israeli ambassador over there speaking about the terror attack, offering his condolences, Israel standing firm by India. There have been 15 heads of state who have reached out to the government of India offering their condolences and their support to India. There have been important statements which have come in from the foreign ministers of several countries as well. I think this is a very important point because it quite clearly indicates that there is international condemnation of the attack and what has taken place. I'm just going to run through very briefly some of the other important news points. Firstly, the day after this horrific attack in Pahalgam, 26 people have died. That number for the moment remains constant. There are several people between 16 and 17 who have been injured. A few of them are believed to be critical. There's an important meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security which will take place at 6 p.m. this evening. The Cabinet Committee on Security is, in a sense, the war room of the government. They'll be looking at the overall situation. The Prime Minister landed earlier on, cutting short his visit from Saudi Arabia. He was met by the Foreign Secretary and the National Security Advisor. You've got images of them on the screen moments after he landed on the top right. The Home Minister, Amit Shah, who you see on the left-hand side of the screen now, has been in Pahalgam earlier on today. Pahalgam was the site of the attack which took place. He will be patched into a CCS meeting, the Cabinet Committee on Security meeting. I assume he would be there in person as well, where the government will really look at what the options are. What is key and important to remember at this juncture is that there will be no hasty decisions which are taken. The National Intelligence Agency is also looking at the situation to try and get more details on who may have been involved. There are sketches which have been released by the police as well. We'll play out those sketches in a little while from now, which indicate what these terrorists look like. My sources indicating to me that 4 terrorists were involved in this attack. 2 of them had body-mounted cameras as well. They had filmed the attack taking place when it did. The Director General of Civil Aviation, that's the aviation watchdog in this country, reaching out to airlines and telling them that flight services out of Srinagar must continue uninterrupted. This is to ensure that whoever wants to get out of Kashmir at this stage, there is a large number of tourists, can actually do so. This is particularly disturbing and distressing because the number of tourists this year was only looking up. Even last year, we'd seen very positive numbers, but after this horrific attack, one of the worst in civilians in the history of Kashmir, a lot of people, and understandably so, are leaving. So that's a broad look at the big headlines or key points emerging a day after the terror attack in Pahalgam.
It's a big challenge for the authorities on the ground there in view of the security situation, of course, and to instill confidence in the people once again. As well, ever since the abrogation of Article 370, we've seen there has been a sense of normalcy and peace on the ground, but that definitely has taken a hit, and also We understand it's going to be a big challenge for the authorities here to restore that trust in the people on the ground. However, as my colleague Nazir has been speaking to the people there, they're also taken aback. The Kashmiris, the locals, they're taken aback after what has happened yesterday. Well, this attack, the video of which we are showing to you on your TV screens there, the first video that came to the fore. This was the video that was captured by an eyewitness on the ground, a local Kashmiri, who was heard even speaking to another friend of his, saying that this looks like a Hamas-style attack, and these attackers, these terrorists came from nowhere. Nobody had an inkling as to what was going to happen and what was happening around them. Well, tourists there, they were enjoying their picnic, they were eating on the roadside, and they had no inkling as to what was to come. They were shot dead, killed in cold blood at point blank range. This is also latest information that's coming in at the moment about the terror attack that unfolded here in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam. On the left hand side of your TV screens, those visuals of Union Home Minister Amit Shah as he arrived in Pahalgam a while back. He's taking stock of the situation on the ground.
All right, my colleague Uma Sudhir has been reaching out to the families of some of those who tragically lost their lives. Uma, it is extremely distressing. We've covered journalism now for we've covered for 30 years, you and I, and every time something like this happens, it's this familiar story of unbelievable grief all around, lives completely changed, and reflecting on something which on another day would have been very different. But go ahead with information, news on who you've spoken to.
Vishnu, this is perhaps different from every other act of terror that we have covered, because in this case, it's a very targeted, very dastardly act of targeting tourists who have come to a place and then isolating them, perhaps on the basis of not just gender, but on the basis of religion as well. And, one by one, actually killing them right in front of their own kith and kin, their young children, minor children, when they are out on a holiday. So 3 people from the 2 Telugu states that we are talking about. One, of course, is Manish Ranjan, who went along with his wife and 2 children on a holiday on his leave travel concession allowance to Pahalgam, and there he was shot dead in front of his wife and 2 children. And he is someone who hails from Bihar, and we understand the mortal remains are to be transported to his home in Bihar there. And 2 others from Andhra Pradesh. One is, of course, Mr. Chandramouli, 70-year-old man who, along with his wife Nagamani, was on a holiday along with 4 others. And yesterday in the evening is when Nagamani had in fact reached out to her brother, who is in the police force in Vizag, and said that there seems to have been a terror attack that's happened here and Chandramouli is missing. It's only subsequently that they learned that he has also been shot dead, and the remains are to be brought at 12 midnight is what I understand. And the third person is Madhusudan, who is again from Kavali in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh, and someone who was living in Bengaluru, but his native is from Andhra Pradesh. So both Mr. Chandrababu Naidu as well as Lokesh have spoken about this incident, expressing shock, of course, and grief as well. Mr. Naidu says, mourning the tragic loss of Chandramouli and Madhusudan Garu, members of Telugu community who lost their lives in yesterday's terrorist attack in Pahalgam. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and acts of terrors are a stain on society. History shows that terrorism and violence have never achieved anything meaningful for the causes they aim to promote. And saying that the government of Andhra Pradesh is in solidarity with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union government to safeguard our nation's sovereignty and responding to terrorism with firm and decisive action. Those responsible for this heinous act must be dealt with severely. So this is certainly a time when the country is trying to come to terms with the grief, with the huge loss that so many people have suffered, and with that kind of an act which kind of has shaken many in the country, and many waiting for that kind of a befitting reply, which they are hoping the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister will announce. We also saw Mr. Nara Lokesh, in fact, also tweet out, and he is called for, in fact, a befitting reply in the form of a revenge, and saying that that is something that we expect now from our from our country to give a suitable reply, and he's speaking about deeply anguished with the kind of horrific terror attack in Pahalgam that claimed 28 lives, and he's mentioning also Chandramouli Garu and Madhusudan Garu, and saying that this dastardly act of violence must not go unpunished. I'm sure Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and Home Minister Amit Shah ji will teach an unforgettable lesson to the perpetrators of this heinous crime. Terror has no place in a civilized society. He's certainly echoing the emotions of Indians across the country and whoever believes that terror has no place in any civilized society.
Absolutely, Uma. Well, more information that we are learning of now. There are many other people from different states who are still in Jammu Kashmir, who must have gone for their vacation, for holidaying. They are also well stranded because of the security situation, the increased security in Jammu Kashmir in view of the attack. And more information are coming in. The center is, of course, providing all the assistance to those people to return to their homes. We also have Major General Yashmore joining us back on the broadcast here. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to NDTV. Sir, also help us understand about this terror outfit, the TRF, the resistance front, who's behind the attack on in Pahalgam. They've claimed responsibility. However, it's up to the investigators to find out as to how, when, and how this was executed, and who's really behind this nefarious activity here in Jammu Kashmir. Tell us about this outfit. How long has this been active in Jammu Kashmir, and how do they really operate?
Look, they keep changing names. Tanzeems are known to change names just to avoid sanctions and avoid being, because HM and Huji and Lashkar-e-Toiba and all have become so popular and they have huge sanctions. So they come out with new names which can strike a chord, especially with the Western world. That is why you have name like this. But this entire thing, their equipment, the weapons, the radio sets they carry very sophisticated radio sets. Even when I was operating in this area way back 20 years back, they still had very, very sophisticated radio equipment. And now I believe it's a radio equipment which cannot even be tapped. So all this is not possible unless they have training from military, training by military people, and equipment supplied to them. Otherwise, many of the terror organizations I've seen that many of them are just ragtag. But these people, the manner of the attack, the equipment, and this thing is all point towards Pakistan ISI's role. And without their role, you can't even get this kind of equipment. Most of it is imported equipment. And to bring it all the way here, Pahalgam is not on the border. It is way deep. This is South Kashmir.
Right.
To come here, to survive for so many days, to reconnoiter this place, to choose this target, it requires solid logistic support. It requires solid support of the mind and strategy behind planning this entire action. And somehow we had no inclination. So that is the sad part.
The images on your screen right now are of the Home Minister Amit Shah, some fresh video which has come in just the last little while. The Home Minister was there early today. He flew out to Kashmir yesterday, the first possible opportunity on his BSF aircraft. This is him landing at the exact area where it took place, some preliminary briefings taking place over there. General Moore, I'll just come back to you. You raised an important point when you spoke about the sophistication of weaponry which is being used. The fact that they're using radio sets with hopping frequencies to ensure that their communications aren't tapped, the fact that they appear to be trained to a much higher level than what we've seen in the past 20-25 years ago, does that indicate the potential presence of Pakistan Army regulars?
Look, Vishnu, it's very difficult to say whether, they are regulars, and I don't think they will take a chance. But people who have left the services, people para commandos of Pakistan Army, the SAG group, or selection of, from the jihadi itself, people who can, because you need tremendous endurance, tremendous mental fitness, physical fitness, ability to operate this, the radio, ability to operate the weapon systems, and ability to coordinate an attack. So it cannot be done by just couple of days or months training. So there is absolutely, I won't say unless we are able to pinpoint, I won't say they are actually the regulars. Will they take a chance with the regulars? But there could be people who have served in the Pakistan army and then boarded out or left, or selected from out of the trained lot that they have for specialized training to do this kind of a mission.
I think, General Mode, the bottom line over here at one level is that while we've seen this huge uptick in insurgency and terrorist attacks south of the Pir Panjal over, let's say, the last 2.5, 3 years, this was an area which was relatively free of that. Numbers were going up, but it was nothing compared to what we'd seen south of the Pir Panjal. Are we back to square one in the fight against terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir?
No, Vishnu, I won't say we are back to square one. The only thing that I wish to say whenever these, whether it was Chhattisgarh or Pulwama or Uri, is that we need to carry out a thorough investigation. We need to fix responsibility and accountability. We have the best intelligence agencies here. We have the military intelligence. We have the IB. We have the J&K police. And I'm telling you, I've seen J&K police also work. They're fantastic. So somewhere these people, and when we know a vice president of US is here, Prime Minister of India is gone to Saudi, and the other activities that are happening in rest of the India, so there should have been little more higher level of alert. And the most important thing, Vishnu, which we are missing, at least I took it very, very close to my, this thing is human intelligence. Insurgency and terrorism, technology can only give you some support, limited support. But it is finally the human intelligence. And for human intelligence, you need to be close to the people. The center of gravity in any situation like this is the people, the local people. So if you have good intelligence, but it takes effort. इसमें बहुत मेहनत करने का काम है. इसमें 6 महीने साल एक अच्छे कंपनी कमांडर को लगता है to create 1 or 2 sources. So you can imagine the kind of hard work, diligence, involvement of junior leaders and senior leaders.
Since the past few years, we've been seeing the center, of course, has been making those efforts to connect with the people on the ground. A lot of development activities have taken place in the Kashmir Valley in the past few years, of course, and people, of course, have been saying that they, of course, praise the efforts of the central government as to what they've been doing on the ground with regard to this. But those efforts definitely have taken a bit of a setback with this terror attack in Pahalgam yesterday, and that's going to take some time, to recover all that loss.
See, I understand. This is very sad, very horrifying, and it must be very difficult for people on ground to now respond to development. There is no doubt. There's huge development has taken place in all sectors across Kashmir, especially tourism industry, trying to create jobs, creating tunnels, roads. The railway line is about to get through, and all that is okay. But what I'm trying to say is people in contact. That is very important. It is small team operations. We need to carry out small team operations. We need to be faster than these guys in their game. Only then you'll win this game. Just briefings, presentations, and technology